Steve Lacy, member of the band The Internet, guitarist, producer, and singer-songwriter. He is an incredibly talented person who produced Kendrick Lamar's song Pride from his 2017 album Damn on his iPhone in high school. A few years after achieving this seemingly impossible feat, he would go on to make his debut album Apollo 21, which actually won a Grammy for, I think, Best Urban Contemporary Album. But before that, he also featured on Tyler, the Creator's Flower Boy. He did production for a bunch of other artists. Fast forward a few years after 2019, we would eventually get his second studio album, Gemini Rights, in 2022. The record had 3 singles, the first one being Mercury, the second one being Bad Habits, and the third one being Sunshine. TikTok got a hold of Bad Habits, sending that shit straight to the top of the charts. As of me recording this video, Bad Habits is almost at 2 billion streams and is still his most streamed song on Spotify and #1 in the most played thing. You know the one. This fact definitely pissed off Steve Lacy as an artist, which I completely understand, and I will get into that later, which led to such famous clips as these.
Can I see this again? Yeah, that's it. Peace.
Now, I wouldn't say that these incidents caused him to quit music, but he definitely took a really long break because of how fans were, quote-unquote fans were treating him, and how Bad Habits treated him as an artist. And I do kind of want to yap about this for a little bit, because it's like TikTok has like zero respect for the artist all the time. There is nothing you can do to appease miserable people on TikTok. It literally does not fucking matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you create a hit song, you make a really good piece of art, a dance was really cool, whatever. You cannot appease them. Or, like in the case of Steve Lacy, they'll immediately start LARPing, like, oh, I was fans of Steve Lacy forever, and they start buying up tickets so that actual fans can't get them damn tickets. That entire part might be unrelated, but you know what's really infuriating from the artist perspective? You want people to like actually appreciate and like understand all of your work, or at least a good majority of your work, right? At least enjoy the art or understand the art enough for them to want to go to a concert. But no, they've heard one part of a song 1,000 times and that justifies them buying a ticket. It's really infuriating, and honestly, I can sympathize with Steve Lacy here. You want to be understood for the art, but everybody only understands you for the trend. I'm gonna cut myself off here before I get into another tangent. I have a second channel if you want to hear a full rant about that. Maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. I don't know yet. After a while, I'm pretty sure he just got fed up with all the fake fans and decided to just go off the grid for a while. No new music, no new Instagram posts. We got basically nothing for years. Until last year when he released New Shoes, which was the first single to his upcoming album. I actually talked about it pretty soon after it came out. It's in a previous video, I just don't remember which one. Then the silence resumed for a little while until eventually we got another single. The track was called The Feeling, and it gave a new sonic direction for Steve Lacy. And we also got a new album name. We got Oh Yeah. Last and final single, which is my personal favorite single out of the 3 that released, was Is It Cool featuring SZA. And then a few weeks later, we got that album, and I actually listened to it like 5 minutes after it came out. That was probably the earliest I've ever been to an album, period. The album is so much more different sonically compared to Steve Lacy's previous work. He was definitely experimenting a lot on this record, and honestly, in my opinion, 9 times out of 10, those experiments were successful. Thematically, it's pretty clear-cut in my opinion. I'm a bad person and I realize this and I want to get better, but I don't know where to start. The lyrics on this album are very simple, but honestly that's what makes a lot of the lyrics very beautiful. There are no complex rhyme schemes, no double entendres, none of that, but in the end the lyrics in my opinion still have meaning. I feel like a lot of people get very wrapped up in the complexity of the lyrics, but don't really pay attention to the substance inside of the lyrics. While sure, more detailed lyrics might indicate more substance, in my experience that isn't always really the case. Something can sound meaningful but have no meaning, you know what I mean? There are definitely a few lyrics on this record that have definitely been meme to death, but in my opinion, those lines are very endearing. On the production side of things, most of this album was actually produced by Steve Lacy alone. I think maybe on like 4 tracks, I think he brought in like at most 2 collaborators, which really just goes to show how much of a feel Steve has as a producer. I mean, we all already knew he was hella talented. I mean, like I said in the intro, he produced Pride for Kendrick Lamar on his fucking iPhone. Actually talking about the sound of the record though, I feel like he ditches all pretenses of his previous sound. Definitely not like the replacement of his sound, but definitely a different branch of evolution in his sound. I can definitely tell that there are definitely some like indie and like rock influences in this album on top of his original R&B sound, and honestly, it works so well. He should do more music like this in my opinion. Probably the last thing that I'm going to touch on is the aesthetics around this album and within the album itself. First thing I'm going to talk about is the music videos, which from my observation seems to take heavy inspiration from psychedelia, especially the music video for The Feeling. The costuming in these videos are also very effective at conveying this kind of psychedelia type of vibe, as well as Steve's own outfits hinting to his queerness. Color palette wise, the most prominent colors are in fact pink and blue, which are also 2 colors shared on the bisexual pride flag. Moving on to the vinyl, it's very beautifully put together. They chose a very stunning gray for the disc itself. The poster insert also leans very heavy into the psychedelic and kind of retro vibe that we have going on here that has been a recurring theme throughout the aesthetics of this album. Overall, the aesthetics of this record are very, very well put together and blend so cohesively with the music. Now on to my final thoughts about the record. Overall, this record was an incredible returning album for Steve Lacy after his 3-year hiatus. The production of this record is very beautiful and inspired, and definitely a deviation from Steve's previous formula. The album aesthetics are unmatched towards any album from this year, in my opinion, that I've reviewed. And overall, it's an amazing album. My top 4 for the album, in no particular order, are Is It Cool featuring SZA, Pure Color featuring Erykah Badu, Doom, and probably Nice Shoes / In Your Way. My honorable mentions will go to The Feeling and Love Sex Drug Bomb. Best produced probably has to go to Doom. And honestly, I don't think there's a worse song on this album. In my opinion, there is not a single bad song on this record. The lowest rated song here is probably a 7 out of 10. Overall, this is a near perfect album. I don't care if I sound like I'm glazing this record, this is a 9.5 out of 10. And that concludes the review. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this record. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I want to hear your opinions. I also have a second channel that you should totally subscribe to. I rant. I've been thinking about playing games on there. Maybe I'll make a beat or 2 on there. Mostly it's probably just going to be me ranting, but if you want to hear that, you should go subscribe. All of my music is on YouTube. However, if you want to add my music to your local files in Spotify or Apple Music or what have you, you should definitely go visit my Bandcamp. There are free downloads there. They will be free forever. All links to everything are in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.